Hello friends. So today we are going to discuss about the different configurations of bipolar junction transistors. So different configuration of BJT. Okay. So out of three configurations, we will see by three. So out of three configuration, we will see today the common base configuration. Okay. So what is this different? Why there are different configuration of BJT? So what is BJT? In last lecture what we have discussed about the BJT is the BJT has three terminals. The BJT has three terminals. Let's say we have a P, we have a N, we have a P. So this is emitter terminal, we call this as emitter, we call this as a base terminal, we call this as a collector terminal. Okay. So now this device has three terminals, and generally if you have something, if you wanted to apply a voltage at the input, you need two terminals. Then you have some device, let's say, and then you wanted to measure the output, you need to have two terminals to measure it. Okay. So since the transistor has three terminals, E, B and C, emitter, base and collector, so two we need at the input and two we need at the output. So what we can do is we can make one common in between input and output. Okay. So this is how we can use the transistor in the circuit, that one of these three terminal, out of these three terminal, one can be a common between the input and output. And now since we have three different terminals, we can keep common either base, we can keep common either emitter, or we can keep collector as a common terminal. So based upon these three, we have a common base configurations in which we have kept a base as a common terminal between input and output. We can have a common emitter configuration of the BJT in which we have kept a emitter common between input and output. We can have a common collector in which we have kept a collector is common between input and output. Now if we have a common base, or if we have a common emitter, if we have a common collector, we can have the different characteristics of the transistors. Okay, it's not that the characteristics of the transistor will be similar. Characteristic meaning a relationship between a voltage and the current. Okay, a relationship between a voltage and a current. Let's say, for example, in case of a P-N junction diode, what is the characteristics? Let's say you have a P and you have an N. So the characteristics is a relationship between a voltage and a current. Let's say you have a voltage on V axis and the current on Y axis. Then you have a current relationship like this. This is under a forward bias, this is under a reverse bias. So this is how basically you define the characteristics of any device. Okay. So now you can have different characteristics for common base, you can have a different characteristics for common emitter, and you have a different characteristics of a common collector. Because in case of a base, you have kept base as a common, so input characteristics will be different. Okay, the input parameters even will be different. If you have kept the emitter as a common, then the input parameters will be different than the base. So we need to study each and every configurations of the BJT to have a complete understanding of the BJT, so that we can use the BJT in another devices or in another circuits. How to use BJT in another circuits? So we need to understand the characteristics of BJT and different configurations. Okay, so today let me tell you about the common base configuration. What will be the input characteristics of the common base configuration? What will be the output characteristics of the common base configuration? What will be the input dynamic resistance? What will be the output dynamic resistance? So basically, whenever we will be discussing about any configuration, we will be seeing number one input characteristics, Number 2, we will see the output characteristics. Number 3, we will see the input dynamic resistance. Input resistance, you can call it input resistance. We will see the output resistance. And we will see the current gain. These are the 5 characteristics we will look for every configuration of the BJT. Okay, we will see input characteristics. Input characteristics, which is a plot or graph between input current and input voltage. It's output characteristics, meaning output voltage and output voltage and output current. Input resistance is the resistance offered by the BJT at the input side, offered by the resistance by the BJT at the output side is the output resistance, and current gain is the ratio of output current to the input current. Okay, so first let me draw the circuit of common base configurations and then characteristics. Okay. One more important thing in the last lecture, because we will not be able to understand the input characteristics and output characteristics, basically the minute features of the input and output characteristics, if we will not recall the last lecture in that what we have seen. Okay, so I'm just writing down here. You need to watch that lecture before going to understand these things. Okay, so what are the points of the last lecture is, so we have defined a 3 current IC, which is almost equal or less than IE. We have defined the equation IE equal to IB plus IC. We have already talked about that IC has 2 components. One is a part of IE and the saturation current ICBO. And then we have seen that if we will increase the reverse voltage VCB, if we will increase the voltage between the collector base junction, then alpha is going to increase, IE is going to increase, however IB is going to decrease. These things we have already studied in the last lecture. Now, if you have a PNP, transistor, then we have already studied that IB and IC we will take negative and IE we will take positive. However, if we have NPN transistor, we will take IE as a negative and IB and IC are positive. Since in PNP transistor, IE is going into the transistor, that's why we are taking IE as a positive. IB and IC are leaving the transistor, that's why we are taking IB and IC are negative. Okay. Now, based on these things, now let me draw the circuit and the characteristics of the common base configurations. Now, what is the symbol? The symbol of common base transistor is something like this. We know that. I am taking here PNP transistor. Now you know why we are calling it a PNP transistor, because the arrow is on this terminal. So definitely this terminal is terminal E. This terminal is terminal C. This terminal is terminal B. And since the arrow direction is always P to N, so basically this is P, this is N, and this is also P. So we have a PNP transistor with these 3 terminals: base, collector, and emitter. Okay. Now, how to draw the characteristics? So we need to make the circuit first. Okay. So how we can make the circuit? So we know that the emitter and the base junction is always in a forward bias. So let's keep in a forward bias by making how we can make it a forward bias. So by applying P as a positive, by applying N as a negative, we can have a forward biasing here. Let's say we call it a battery VEE. Okay, and let's say whatever the voltage drop across this junction is, let's say represented by VEB. This is very, very important that I am taking here VEB. I am not taking here VBE. Whatever the common terminal is, we will measure the voltages with respect to that terminal. So if the base is common, we will take the voltages always VEB, and here we will take, so this we need to take in a reverse bias. So this is P, so to make it negative, connect positive with the N. So this is reverse bias, and let's say we call it a battery VCC, and let's say the voltage drop here is VCB. This is very very important, that we are taking voltages as a VCB and VEB, meaning if base is a common terminal, we are taking VEB and VCB. We are measuring all the voltages with respect to the base. So this is the circuit. Okay, now let me just put here the resistance also, the load resistance from which we are taking the output. Let's say this is the input side where we can apply input signal, and let's say this is something here, we have a resistance which is a load resistance RL, and let's say instead of there I have a battery here like this which is a VCC battery. Okay, so this is the circuit. Okay. Now we need to draw the input characteristics. Okay, how we will draw the input characteristics. Okay, so input characteristics meaning, as I already told you, what does it mean by input characteristics? The characteristics meaning a graph between voltage and a current. What does it mean by input characteristics? Meaning input current versus input voltage. Okay, so what we will do is input current versus input voltage. Now here there is a point. The input current and the input voltage, if you will vary, let's say the input voltage and you will measure the input current, okay, IE. So does the IE input current, since in this case the input current is IE, let's say all the currents flowing inside, because I already told you that I will take the currents IB and IC negative, but whenever I will draw the circuit, I will take all the currents that they are entering into the transistor like this. So here no need to remember that which current is going outside and which current is going inside. The only thing is you can draw all the current going inside into the transistor, but you need to remember that the IE is positive in case of a PNP and IB and IC are negative in case of a PNP, meaning IB and IC are leaving from the transistor. Okay. So now IE is the input current, whereas the input voltage is VEB. VEB. It's a VEB. Okay. Now since the input current is also depending upon the output voltage, this we have already seen in the last lecture, that if you are going to increase VCB, definitely IE is going to increase. So we cannot simply plot IE versus VEB. We need to keep constant the output voltage. If we will not keep this as a constant, we cannot draw the characteristics. So for a particular VCB, I can change VEB, I can change VEE, and I will measure IE. Again I will change VEE, I will change IE. Again I will change VEE, I will change IE. I will measure IE. But I need to keep constant VCB at a particular value. If I wanted to have a response of VE versus VEB versus IE at different VCB, I need to keep a different VCB at the time. Okay, that means whenever I will plot input characteristics, I will plot between IE versus VEB at constant VCB. The output voltage at that time has to be constant. Okay, so how I can write these things? I can write these things that like VEB or IE. I can write here VEB is a function of, okay, what I can write is VEB is a function of IE VCB. Okay, or in case of a IC, let's say the output characteristics. In output characteristics, what is the output current? Output current is let's say IC. What is the output voltage? Output voltage is, let's say, VC. The output voltage is VCB. So we need to, for output characteristics, I need to plot IC versus VCB. at constant IE. At constant IE. At constant IE. Because IC can change if we will change IE. The output current, because we know that IC is dependent upon IE, alpha IE. So IC can change if I will not keep IE as a constant. Okay, so if I drawing the output characteristics, the output current is IC and the output voltage is VCB at constant IE. Okay, so again what I can write is it's a function of IE versus VCB. Who is the function of IE versus IE and VCB? IC is the function of IE comma VCB. Like this. I can write also like this. So IE and VCB becomes an independent variables here, and VEB and VIC are the dependent variable here. Okay. So this is how basically you can now plot the input and output characteristics. So whenever I am plotting the input characteristics, I need to plot IE versus VEB at the constant VCB. However, if I am plotting the output characteristics, I need to plot IC versus VCB at constant IE. Okay, because we know that IC is a function of IE. So if I am plotting the output characteristics, I need to have a control over IE. So now let me draw the input characteristics. Now let me draw the input characteristics. So let's say this is your y-axis and we have an x-axis. On y-axis, let's say I have a current which is IE, and IE is positive, so IE is positive, and let's say this is in a milliampere. Okay, what is the input voltage? Input voltage is VEB, and VEB is positive because emitter is connected to the positive, base is connected, base is ground. Okay, so you have VEB is positive also, this is in volt. Now it's very simple because in input side you have a P and you have a N, so it's a basically PN junction diode, and you have biased it in a forward bias. So the characteristics of this junction will be similar as a forward bias PN junction diode. So that means it will simply be like this. Okay, so this is, let's say, 0 volt. You have a 0.2 volt. Sorry, let's say this is 0.2 volt. You have here something 0.5 volt, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, like this. Okay, and now I need to plot input characteristics in IE versus VEB at constant VCB. Let's say here the VCB is equal to 0. Let's say here VCB equal to 0. When I kept this VCB, I have opened this at the time, let's say this is the characteristics. Now let's say VCB. Now in this, what will be the VCB? VCB will be negative in this. This is very important. VCB will be negative. I am taking voltage of collector with respect to the base. Okay, because base is the common terminal, but collector itself is at negative. So VCB will be negative in this. Okay, so let's say VCB is minus 10 volt. Then what do we expect? The curve should go towards the right, towards the left, or towards the right. So from the previous lecture we have already seen that if you will increase the VCB, IE is going to be increased. For that I am not going into the detail now because of the base width modulation. I have already explained this in the lecture. If you have not seen, kindly watch that lecture first, and then you will be able to understand the characteristics, the input characteristics of the common base transistor. Okay, so what we have seen already, that if you are going to increase VCB, IE is definitely going to be increased. Don't confuse with this minus 10, okay, that we are decreasing VCB. No, it's just a polarity, okay, because we are taking the voltage with respect voltage of collector with respect to the base, and since voltage of collector is negative, okay, because the battery is C, negative part is connected to the collector, so VCB is negative, just to show the polarity. So we have VCB equal to minus 10 volt. So whenever we are increasing the VCB, definitely I is going to be increased. If I is going to be increased, the curve will shift towards left. Okay, so that means the IE at any point will increase like this. So for the same voltage of VEB, now you have more IE compared to this. Okay, This is the meaning of increasing VCP. Okay, and this phenomena is mainly because of base width modulation. Base width modulation, which we have already explained in the last lecture of transistor. Okay, so this is base width modulation. Now this is the input characteristics. Very simple. In case of a silicon, this generally this knee voltage is 0.5 volt, around 0.5 volt. Okay, in case of a silicon. However, in case of a germanium, it can be of 0.1. Okay. Now let me draw the characteristics, output characteristics. Okay, what will be the output characteristics? Okay, let me draw here the output characteristics. The output characteristic. Okay, the output characteristics is in between IC versus VCB. So IC is negative. So I will take here IC, which is in milliampere, and this is negative. So let's say here we have a 0, here you have a -1, here you have a -2, here you have a -3, here you have a -4, here you have a -5. So this is in a milliampere. Now VCB. VCB is negative. I already told you. So VCB is in volt, but it is in negative. So let's say here -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8. Let's see. Okay, since this is a reverse bias voltage, so I'm just keeping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm not going as a 1.1, 1.2. There is no meaning in reverse bias like this. Okay, so now I need to plot the output characteristics. But remember, in output characteristics, the input current has to be constant. Okay, let's say the input current is constant at 5 milliampere. Let's say the input current IE is constant at 5 milliampere. What do you think? Let's say even if VCB equal to 0, what do you think? What will be the IC? What will be the IC? So remember in the last lecture we have discussed that at 5 milliampere there are holes which are going towards the base. Some of the holes will recombine into the base, the rest of the hole will go to the collector region, and that the part of the holes which are reaching at the collector, we call it a collector current, and this is almost equal to IE. Like it's the part which we are calling a part, it's alpha basically, and alpha is basically 0.98, 0.99 something. So if 5 milliampere has been started from emitter terminal, what current do you expect at the collector? So 5 into 0.99, that means around 4.95 current you expect. So to 5 milliampere, what do you expect is 4.9 something here the current. And then if you are increasing VCP, what do you expect? Because here I have already written that if you will increase VCB, these are the things you expect. Alpha is going to increase, IE is going to increase, IB is going to decrease. Meaning, because of this alpha, because the collector, at the collector you are getting the part of emitter current, and the part of emitter current meaning it is defined by alpha. So if alpha is going to increase, this point has to be increased like this, and it will reach from 4.9, it will reach to 5, let's say like this. Okay, so you can say there is not much change in the IC with respect to VCB, because alpha is going to change from 995 to let's say 998 like this. So there is small variation in alpha because alpha is just less than the unity, just 0.995 let's say. Okay, so it's going to increase from 0.995 to 0.998. It will not make any change in IC. Okay, so if IC is started from 4.9, it will reaches to 4.995 or 4.99 like that. So the characteristics are almost flat. The characteristics are almost flat. Okay, if you have an IE equal to 4 milliampere, then again the characteristics are almost flat, but started from 3.9 something and it will be reaching towards 4. If IE equal to 3 milliampere, the current will be somewhere started from 2.9 and it will be reaching towards 3. It will be reaching towards 3. So almost the curves are flat. If you have IE equal to 2 milliampere, No problem. The current will start from somewhere 1.9 and it will be reaching towards 2. Okay. If you have I equal to 1 milliampere, no problem. The current will start somewhere around 0.99 milliampere and it will be reaching towards 1 milliampere. The current is almost flat. Now, if IE equal to 0, if IE equal to 0 milliampere, meaning this is open. IE equal to 0 meaning you have not applied any bias here, or this junction is in a reverse bias. I is 0 meaning this junction is in a reverse bias, let's say. Okay, so if this is 0, IE is 0, so the component in IC, this component, the first component will become 0. You have only ICBO, which is due to this reverse bias junction. Okay, so now you have a small ICBO which is of the order of microampere. So since I have taken this axis as a milliampere, so it's good to show ICBO just parallel to the x-axis. Okay, so this is just parallel to the x-axis, just parallel to the x-axis, and this current is known as ICBO, the collector to base current when emitter is open. Okay, so now this region is known as the active region of the transistor, because in this region the emitter base junction is in a forward bias as we have kept it, the collector base junction is in a reverse bias as we have kept it in a reverse bias, and these are the characteristics we have obtained by doing so we call it active region. Okay, now there might be questions why we have kept this as a forward and this as a reverse. We should kept this as a reverse and this as a reverse also. We can keep this as a reverse and we can keep this as a forward, or we can keep this as a forward and this as a forward. So all these combinations we will see here itself in the characteristics. Okay, how? Now let's say I equal to 5 milliampere. We have a current here somewhere here 4.9. Okay, but this is at 0 VCB. This is at 0 VCB. If I wanted to make it 0, let's say I wanted to make IC equal to 0, what should I do? Because if I am going to increase the VCB in this direction, in this polarity, the IC is going to increase. Okay, but if I wanted to, let's say I make VCB as a positive. Now, VCB positive meaning what? We are just now reversing the battery here. Positive meaning we are reversing the battery here, meaning we are connecting P to the positive. That means we are making this as a forward. So this is already forward, and if we make it forward, what will happen? This current will drastically reduce. Okay, this current will immediately reduce to 0. So this current will immediately reduce to 0, almost exponentially, because now this will be a forward bias. So we expect the current should increase in a forward bias manner. Okay, so since this current is negative, so now the current will increase positively, so this will make it to 0 like this. Okay, now if it is 4 milliampere and I wanted to make it 0, again I need to positive VCB with very small value. So if I will make it positive, it will be like this. At 3 milliampere, if I will make it positive, it will be like this. If 2 milliampere, I will be making VCB positive, it will be like this and like this. Okay, now this reason, because in this reason now VCB is also positive, meaning forward bias. So that means we have understood forward reverse region here, which we call it an active region. Now this region, so we can call it this region, this to this. Okay, this region is known as saturation region. Saturation. Why we calling it a saturation region? We can understood in this fashion. Let's say we have derived a load here, which is a resistance with this circuit, and if I will plot the load line, okay, right now we do not know the concept of the load line, let's say, but let's say whatever the load I am driving here, let's say that has a characteristic something like a linear characteristics, and let's say I wanted to mix those two characteristics of, let's say, transistor characteristics and the load characteristics on the same XY plot. Okay, let's say the load characteristics is somewhere like this. let's say the load characteristics is like this. We will understand this later, but I just wanted to tell you why we are calling it a saturation region. Okay, so let's say the load line of the resistance is like this. Okay, so when we will understood about the load line, when we will understand the concept of the load line, we will understand that why this line is coming like this. Okay, but this line comes like this only. So you can see, what you can say is, let's say it's for I equal to 4 milliampere, the IC is like this, and for I equal to 5 milliampere, the IC is like this. So here you can see the 1 milliampere difference in IE has also 1 milliampere difference in IC. But here you can see 4 milliampere of IE has this much of IC, and 5 milliampere of IE has this much of IC. Almost the constant IC for two different IE. So in this region, the IC almost gets saturated. Okay, independent to whatever the IE is, the IC has its own path here. Independent to IE, whatever the IE equal to 5 or 4, you can see the 5 milliampere and the 4 milliampere graph are almost parallel. Okay, the 5 milliampere IE graph and 4 milliampere graph here are almost overlapping, not parallel, they are overlapping. If they are overlapping, meaning if the IC gets saturated irrespective to the IE. Okay, so this reason we call it a saturation. Now, what about this reason? What about this reason? Beyond I equal to 0. So I equal to 0 is because you have kept this reason as a reverse bias. Okay, and this is already reverse bias. So this reason is known as a cutoff region, where almost the output current is also cut off. Okay, there is no IC. Okay, so we call this region as a cutoff region. So these are the characteristics of output characteristics of common base. Now, after input and output characteristics, our third characteristics of the common base is we need to find out the input resistance. Okay, so what is the input resistance? Input resistance. So input resistance can be find out from the input characteristics. So input characteristics is almost equal to the forward PN junction diode characteristics, is similar to the forward biased PN junction diode characteristics. So the input resistance is very small, because in input characteristics we have already seen the current increases very sharp with respect to the voltage. Okay, so if the resistance is defined as like R is defined as delta change in, if I'll call it input dynamic resistance, we call it change in input voltage VEB divided by change in input current. So we call it a input resistance RI, input dynamic resistance. Okay, at constant VCB. At constant VCB. So the value of this is around 2200 ohm. Very small. The resistance, input dynamic resistance of a common base is very small. Okay. Now, what is the output resistance? So you can see here the large change in VCB, even there is no change in the IC. So that means the resistance is very high. The output resistance you can define here the output resistance RO. RO is defined as delta VCB divided by delta IC, and this is approximately equal to 1 mega ohm. Because here the large change in VCB does not lead to change in IC. Okay. Now what is the current gain? So how we can define the current gain? So current gain is output current, the ratio of output current to the input current. Okay. So IC and IE. So the ratio the ratio we defined is with the alpha. Alpha is equal to IC over IE. This is the current gain in case of a common base configuration. So here IC, since IC is equal or just less than the IE, so that means alpha is less than 1. So the common base configuration has a current gain which is less than 1. always the common base configuration has a current gain which is less than 1. So these are the things, these are the characteristics will definitely help you when you will be designing circuit using BJT. Okay, maybe suppose in the future you are designing a circuit with a BJT, let's say the amplifier circuit you are designing. Okay, so in amplifier circuit you need to understand, you need to have some concepts, okay, that what do you want, the current gain you want high or you want less. Okay, so if you want high, you will not use the common base characteristics, because the common base has current gain less than 1. Maybe you want output impedance very high, output resistance very high, you can choose this. Okay, so based on these, if you know the characteristics of the common base configurations, then only you can use this common base configuration in a circuit. If you do not know the common base configuration characteristics, you cannot use it. One final thing, very very important thing I wanted to share with you here. By just watching these characteristics, okay, it recalls us a very important circuit in electronics. And what is that circuit is? What is that first? Let's say what is the characteristics? The characteristic shows that the current is almost constant with any of the voltage. This property is, I think, very similar to what? Can you guess? If the current of a device, current of any particular device is almost constant to the voltage, what do you think? It means you have something like this. You have a current, you have, let's say, you have a current, let's say like this, and you have a current and you have a voltage. Irrespective of the voltage, you are getting the same current. This property is of, have you guessed? Yeah, this property is of current source. The similar property we can get from the current source. Current source is a device in which the current between two terminals is almost similar, is always similar, or always remains same, irrespective whatever the load you apply between these two terminals. Okay, so we can use or we can replace this common base configurations BJT as a current source also. Okay, so this I just wanted to give you an idea of current source, that the device is behaving like similar as a current source. Okay, so somewhere when we are making a equivalent circuit, let's say we will not always plot it and we will find out the characteristics. So we need to have an equivalent circuit of this circuit. So at that time we need to replace the symbol of the transistor with some component of the electronic. So that's why I wanted to give you a clue of this, that the characteristics, the common base transistor can be replaced with the current source. Okay, so whenever we will be designing the equivalent circuits later, we can replace this transistor with current source. Okay, so from here we can understand that yes, these characteristics are very similar as the characteristics of a current source. Okay, so today we have studied about the common base configurations. In the next lecture we will see about the common emitter configurations. Thank you.